from the Auditor General. There is already work on the subsidies, the maize subsidy. There is already work on the fuel subsidy. There is already work on the KEMSA COVID haste. There is work on the telecom haste. And you have seen last week, Honorable Speaker, a gentleman who shamelessly told the country that he was paid a cool... You know, Honorable Speaker, let me again graciously welcome the sentiments by our leader of minority. And you know, the leader of minority is the immediate former chair of PAC. The current chair of PAC is the immediate former leader of minority. So it is role swapped, and therefore they have a lot of learning to do from each other. And the Honorable Pio and I will tell you, at no time when he was a chair PAC did he ever play to the gallery. And I was only saying this, Honorable Speaker, as a cautionary statement, so that, and I have no intentions, Honorable Pio and I. In fact, I have invited the Public Accounts Committee, and what worried me is that we might be running to speak to the gallery or to play to the gallery at the risk of signaling cartels in government to start hiding what they are stealing. Number two, Honorable Speaker, the Public Accounts Committee of this House is one of the busiest committees, and I hope John Buddy will agree with me, plus the members of that committee. They sit in room 9 almost throughout the week, and they are very busy, Honorable Speaker. But I want to encourage them, even as we look into or anticipate work from the Auditor General, there is already work on the subsidies, the maize subsidy. There is already work on the fuel subsidy. There is already work on the KEMSA COVID haste. There is work on the telecom haste. And you have seen last week, Honorable Speaker, a gentleman who shamelessly told the country that he was paid a cool 400 million shillings because he is smart. Mind you, Honorable Speaker, this gentleman who was so smart to be paid 400 million shillings for being smart, assuming the rest of Kenyans are stupid, this is a gentleman who at the time, and I hope the Public Accounts Committee, the Finance Committee, and the ICT Committee will pick up this issue, even as they consider whatever they are considering in their report. Yes, that at the time this gentleman was being paid for being smart in advising Telcom, that's a telco provider, this gentleman was serving as a chair of Safaricom PLC. And you know, government has shareholding in both companies. And therefore, there was already a direct conflict of interest that at a time when you are chairing one board, you are advising a competitor's board. Honorable Speaker, then you tell us you are smart. You could be smart in stealing. And committees of this House must ensure that these thieves are brought to book, Honorable Speaker. With those very many remarks, Honorable Speaker, because I see I am inviting very many points of objection. But I hope these points of objection or points of order are not in any way to gag me from calling out the thieves and the cartels that looted this country dry in the last regime. Because the Public Accounts Committee, we shall hold you as a house to account to make sure that the cartels that looted this country are brought to book. And it will not matter whether they were operating from big offices, it will not matter whether they were smart, it will not matter whether they were moving their money from here to Malaysia, to Cayman Islands, to Pandora Papers, it will not matter. They must answer. So that even in this government, Mr. Speaker, which is more important, even in this government, we must not feed cartels. And we must not feed cartels. And John Buddy, you have an onerous responsibility to ensure the Public Accounts Committee and the Auditor General and this audit firm, this PKF, work to ensure that the Auditor General also works to oversight and provide meaningful oversight of our government agencies and ministries. With those many remarks, may I wish all the cartels that have been stealing from government in the past and even those who intend to steal under this government, that they be on notice. We are watching them, as we are watching the Public Accounts Committee and the Public Investments Committee of this House to ensure that they do their work without fear, without favor, and without being